A little backstory. It's been years. Taehyung was a random stranger you met on a rainy, stormy night. He was in a very vulnerable condition with a little child, 6 to 7 months old, in his hands. You kept bumping into him and helped him out whenever you met. In the end, after hearing their story, you decided to give them shelter in your house. Taking the responsibility of his child, you worked hard and helped Taehyung get a job in a company. He told you that his ex blamed him for someone close's death and broke ties with him. His company went bankrupt and his parents threw him out of the house with his child saying he had filthy blood. Taehyung was not at fault. He tried to save that person, but no one can come close to the plan of destiny. He went to some other city and met YN. You were an orphan, someone that has always been lonely in life. So there was nothing you could lose. Taehyung and his little son Subin filled the empty void of loneliness. You both were not actually married but acted like a couple for that kid. There were no romantic feelings from his side, at least that's what you thought. It was like you were Subin's mother but not Taehyung's wife. He was kind, composed, and well settled now, earning good and generally happy in his life. But it all changed when a new female client came to Ryan's office. Being the manager, Ryan's boss suggested to call the client for dinner, and it was pretty much okay for Taehyung and Subin. But as the woman came in front of Taehyung again after 6 years, he could feel the world come crashing down at his feet. Somehow they managed to pass the time. Taehyung ignored her most of the time. And it was Ryan who was talking because she had no idea who that woman was. After dinner, the women left. Taehyung told Ryan everything about his ex-wife Hana. Ryan was indeed shocked to hear everything and decided to keep Hana away from her little family. One night it was late and Ryan was waiting for a taxi. That is when a car stopped in front of her. It was Hana. She insisted Ryan and said she would drop her at her house. Ryan at first denied but then gave in after she requested. Hana was a client after all. It would make a bad impression if she kept on rejecting. Present time. Ryan sat in the passenger seat of the car, her hands nervously fidgeting with the hem of her dress. Besides her, Hana sat stoically, her gaze fixed on the road ahead. The tension in the car was palpable, a thick fog of awkwardness hanging in the air. As they drove in silence, Ryan couldn't help but steal glances at Hana. She was beautiful. With long flowing hair and a confident demeanor that Ryan couldn't help but envy. It was hard to believe that this woman had once been a part of Taehyung's life and had once carried his child. Finally, to break the awkward silence, Hannah cleared her throat. So, Ryan, how have you been? She asked tentatively. Hannah glanced at Ryan briefly before returning her gaze to the road. I've been good, Ryan replied curtly. Hannah nodded, unsure of what else to say. The car fell into silence once again, and the sound of hum of the engine and occasional honk of a passing car was heard. After a few more minutes of uncomfortable silence, Hannah spoke up. I heard you helped Taehyung when I left him, she said, her voice calm. Ryan's heart skipped a beat at the mention of Taehyung's name. Yes, I did, she replied quietly. He was going through a tough time and I just wanted to help. Hannah nodded, a sad smile playing on her lips. Thank you for being there for him when I couldn't, she said sincerely. Ryan looked away, sighing. She knew how much Taehyung had suffered when Hannah had left him, and she couldn't imagine what he must have gone through. You look happier when you're with him, all smiles when he is near, Hannah said to him. Yeah, Taehyung and Subin are my reason to smile, she said, smiling. Hannah's expression changed to a displeased one. How does it feel, stealing someone else's reason to smile? She asked in a mocking voice. Ryan looked at Hannah confused as she stopped the car near Ryan's house. She turns to Ryan and says, It's true, Ryan. My happiness is with you. Please give me back my happiness, Ryan. My Taehyung and my son Subin. Hannah held Ryan's hands in a pleading manner, her eyes glistening with tears. Ryan stared at her with wide eyes and furrowed eyebrows, feeling a sudden urge of anger build up within her. She jerks Hannah's hand away. Are you out of your mind? Just because you're my client, it's my job to respect you. I'm not doing anything. Otherwise, I might have slapped you for saying such rubbish, Miss Hannah. Ryan spoke boldly. It's not easy to forget the love of your life, Ryan. Hit me. Kill me. I'll not stop thinking about him till the last breath. I've been trying to get over him since the last 6 years. I couldn't move on. What makes you think that I'll forget my Taze? Hannah was cut off by Ryan's stern voice. Taehyung. My husband's name is Taehyung. She looked into Hannah's eyes that showed the same passion as her. Tae, my love's name is Tae. He was your past. Right now, you don't even have the right to think about him. I know I don't have any rights. I know it's wrong. But what I also know is that there are no boundaries in love. There's no right and wrong in love. If the whole world would start thinking like you, Miss Hannah, then there would be no value of relationships. Ryan took a deep breath, calming herself down. Look, Taehyung is not your family. Hannah looked at Ryan with guilt in her eyes. That's exactly what I regret, Ryan. Miss Hannah, it's not only wrong to think about someone else's husband, but it is also injurious to health. Ryan taunted, looking directly into her eyes. I'm not talking about a stranger. I am asking you what's mine. Destiny took him away from me. You are asking me something that destiny has given me, Ryan said with clenched jaw before turning around and was about to open the car door when Hannah said, I love thee. Ryan halted on her actions, feeling the rage taking over her. Never stopped loving him. Never will, she again said, making Ryan look at her. You are taking your defeat and stubbornness as love, Miss Hannah. And you are taking my love as my stubbornness and defeat. This is love, not a game. You think I came in between you guys, right? The fact is, it's you who came between us. Because my heart knows that my Tay still loves me, whether you accept it or not, whether he shows it or not. Somewhere in his heart, he knows that he belongs to his Hana. Ryan felt tears welling up in her eyes, but she quickly hid them away, taking a deep breath before saying, if Taehyung really loves you, I swear to God I will move out of your way. If he loves you even 1% and wants to come back to you, I won't stop him. Because love cannot be forced. Ryan smiled slightly before speaking again. Love doesn't tie us down, it frees us. If we bind someone in love, then it's not love. Doors are shut in captivity, but in love, it's a free sky. Love is that space where every window, every door, every exit is open wide, and still someone wants to be with you. If Taehyung feels my home is an open sky, he can stay with me. And if he finds my home is a cage, he can leave. I won't come to bring him back, that's a promise. She said in a fierce tone, staring right into Hana's eyes with fire. Fine then, my Tae will decide now. Ryan let out a breathy chuckle. That's what remains to be seen, Miss Hana. Whether your Tae makes the decision or my Taehyung. She smiled at Hana. Thanks for the ride, Ryan said before finally getting out of the car, leaving Hana alone. But even after whatever she said, there was an insecurity that had settled in her heart, the words ringing in her mind again and again. Somewhere in his heart, he knows that he belongs to his Hana. The fact is, it's you who came between us. Van closed her eyes tightly, ringing the doorbell, waiting for Taehyung to open the door. A few seconds later, the door gets opened by Taehyung, who looked worried. Oh God, Ryan, I was so worried. You didn't even pick your phone up. Where were you? Do you even know what time it is? He continued his scolding, making Ryan chuckle. If you're done scolding me, can I come in?